Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live show. And how about that market today? Nice and red. And then crypto just followed it right behind it. It was crazy. Crypto just went nutty. Trump announces the whatever the reserve, and then boom, it goes down like a pile of bricks. So who knows? I think they're just buying it cheap to run it back up again, like you saw last time. I'm sure we're gonna see some 20 times calls on this thing coming up real soon going into tomorrow. So we are obviously going to rip that apart and the rest of the market and see what's going to be popping. I told you guys I wasn't that confident that it was going to be moving, and it wasn't moving too good. We did have the poppers, though, of course. PSTV, AGMH, both way over 100%. PSTV was like over 300%. So we nailed them, and that GV. So we definitely called out the poppers, and we also knew what the market was doing as well. So let's get cruising here. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence, and let's just rock and roll, everybody. Here we go. Red market, but it doesn't matter. We find the poppers. OCEA still running up a little bit, guys. We'll look at it and see what it wants to do tomorrow, but I know it was going up a little bit today as well. And what it do? 9 to 10. It did come down to that 8 and closed around 9. What was it at? It's like it's just under 9 right there. I didn't think it was at 9, but it's under 9. This thing rounds up sometimes, but it did run up to 10 today. And yesterday it was in that 10 range too, but it did get up there and then just kind of pull back, but still in a good spot. Not looking bad for OCEA. And we're definitely going to keep an eye on that one. And that TRNR, I told you guys that one wasn't done yet. And it was trying to run up. I think it's making that base right here. You have your 20 curling up to your 50 right there, and it is looking much better. I'm not saying it's ready to just get cruising, but I think it is getting set back up to run even higher. And again, I was saying before this even ran up, this thing could be a big runner there, and it does look like it's trying to set up to do it. So we will be keeping an eye on that TRNR still. And how about FAMI ran up there today? And I know we had mentioned it before, and I know that Terps Trader was looking at it there for a little while. And then we checked it out there, and it definitely ran up here 22 to 38. It closed at 28. I think it ran up in the after hours, to be honest with you. And yeah, it does say it did run up in the after hours. And there you go. I thought so. And that is up to 38. It did close at 28. So there you go. If you were in that one and got out of it in the after hours, there you go for that. That was a nice hit. And how about that PSTV right here running like a maniac? We were looking at it last night saying, hey, this thing looks like it wants to kind of bounce. And you know what? It did a little bouncing today. 49 to 260. It closed at 218 and still could run tomorrow. So keep an eye on it. It looks like it's like trying to get cruising still. So I would keep an eye on that PSTV. And that AGMH, that one went wild. AGM Group Holdings, and this thing bounced off that bottom and that support line right there, AGMH. So let's take a look at this one. And it did go 14 to 29. It's at 20 right now. And again, not looking bad, but we do know that look like they like to hit that MACD and also that basement line and pull back. So we'll see if it can run up some more tomorrow. But two big poppers there today that we were looking at. And then remember I said, look at this one early in the morning, GV. It was cruising up yesterday, and we knew it was going to run up more. Yesterday, it ran from 138 to 445. It closed at 422. And then today, 428 to 715. And it's at 409. But it was a nice run up there early this morning. And I know a few of you caught that one as well. So there you go. I mean, we just smashed the entire market, everything that was moving, including knowing what the SPY was going to do, and pretty much everything followed that as well. And how about this Walgreens right here? Just getting set up, but it's just fascinating to me. And again, this thing's over the MACD. Kind of looks like it'll get set up to roll off the MACD and run up as a 20 and 50 are meeting up. But just fascinating to me. And it is going to be, what, a $10 billion deal to go private. So they did say that today with that Sycamore company, and it is pretty wild. Private and up to, they said 24 bill. I thought it was the numbers are all over. Some say 24, the other said 10. I don't even know what it is. Maybe it is 24. I thought 10 billion would be a little cheap, but I figured, hey, maybe not because they're in bad shape. But I have no idea. This says $23.7 billion deal. Oh yeah, I would say so. So yeah, I think they're getting taken over right there. And if not, they would have went bankrupt. We knew that. So we had talked about it, and then they started selling stores right after I mentioned it. And then that this company came in, and we thought that they weren't they bowed out of the deal, and then all of a sudden the chart looked amazing. I thought it was like the greatest turnaround ever in the history of a company right there. And here they were still getting bought out. So pretty interesting how the stock charts just tell you everything right there. And we really never had to look at any news. I mean, we don't follow anything. We just happened to look down and followed that little bit of information just because it was interesting and it was showing us on the charts. So yeah, they were definitely going towards bankruptcy right there, selling off like 1,200 stores and then got bought up privately. So there you go at Walgreens, and you probably won't be seeing them. Who knows what they're going to do with them stores? So who knows what that company has in mind? But that is WBA, and it looks like it's going to go through. I don't know if it's something to mess with. The chart doesn't say that it's something that great. It looks like it could bounce up, but again, I don't know how it doesn't look like it's amazing going private there. So RTC, this thing was running back up today. It looks like it tried to bottom out again, and it was moving there 35 to 46. It's at 43, and you might want to keep an eye on this one tomorrow morning. RTC, it looks like it might still run up there, so keep an eye on that. And how about VCIG? This one was running up as well. This one ran up today. And I think it bottomed out the other day. What day was that? 2 days ago, March 4th, which was Tuesday. And yeah, so I think VCIG bottomed out there. I think a lot of them are bottomed out. It's just a matter, again, if this thing can curl through tomorrow. And it is an interesting look. It's trying to curl through really hard. So we'll see on this one. I was going to keep an eye on it. And a lot of them ones that we were looking at last night, and I said, I'm not so sure they can cross through and get moving. Guess what? They weren't crossing through and moving today. So it's a good thing we aren't jumping in them early because that pattern is still holding up pretty strong right now. So you don't want to get caught. And we are just doing just fine. Trust me. Wintry, WINT, another one in that basement trying to set up and roll off the MACD. Looked like that bottom was in yesterday. It recently split. So keep an eye on WINT, and maybe this thing can get cruising. And that 20's up there like 485. And again, it was a penny stock that reverse split. So there you go with WINT, but keep an eye on that. And SYRS, remember we were looking at this. It's getting to be in a really good spot, guys. Keep an eye on this thing. I'm telling you, probably by next week, it's going to be real good. It's running around 9 to 11, closed at 9. Just that 9 to 11's a little good pop up today. So keep an eye on this thing because it is getting set up. And another one had crossed down and wants to make like a crazy look going up. So we're going to keep an eye on it. It is getting set up right there, and I will have my eye on it. Does look like it's basing out, but it could very well pull back. So just be patient with them, and I'll let you know when it's ready, obviously. And LAC, that Lithium Americas Corp, remember I put that on the list, and boom, there it goes today. It was up over 7%, and that one is cruising. So I'm telling you, we can definitely hit everything. And this one did make that cross through. I was watching it today. I was impressed because it was getting up to that line, and now it's in that channel. It might really want to run. So we might have to look at some of these industrial metals and mining ones, and because that's at LAC, Lithium Americas Corp, and it was rolling and not looking bad right there. And like I said, it did kind of cross through. It is in a spot where it could pull itself down tomorrow. You know how I talk about that, but it could also go cruising some more. It's just hitting that 50, and it's just, it's not looking terrible. I could see it bouncing down, though, because we do know that pattern, but we'll see what it can do tomorrow. LAC and this AIM, this thing was up a little bit today, but it looked like it was trying to get onto that 20 right there. It was struggling to do it. And on a big red day, it was fighting its way 13 to 14. It closed at 14 too. And again, it's right under that 20. It was there. It had gotten over there today because it's at I mean, it's under 30. Yeah, it's at 13 and a half. And when it gets up into this 14 area, it gets over that 20. So I think it's going to. And again, this thing is getting set up, and we know that this one has all kinds of stuff going on. And how about that Geo group? It's a security and protection thing. This thing looks like it's trying to get set up. It was hitting that MACD and bouncing down. And I think we got to keep an eye on this. The chart looked kind of crazy. I know we looked at it before, and it does. It looks like it's going to curl down, but get really set up here. So we are going to keep an eye on that GEO, and see what that wants to do right there. And LRHC was down a little bit today. And let's see if it's just building that base and that 20's coming down. It's just like kind of hanging out on that bottom line, nothing real crazy. And again, it had that chance to get popping, but the market was just destroying everything. It went 21 to 23, down to 19. It's at 20. Not looking terrible. I think that bottom was in the other day on the 4th on Tuesday as well. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on it, and it should try to get set up to bounce off that bottom LRHC. So we are watching that one. And let's see what's going on with which one's next. That good old S dot right there. SATIC Group, SDOT. There it is, SATIC Group. And this thing, I'm telling you guys, this thing's setting up and rolling. I'd watch this tomorrow, as a matter of fact, because it's in that channel. That 20's coming up, and it's looking really good. We watched it already run up. It pulled back a hair, and I think this one might be a good one for tomorrow, guys. So keep an eye on SDOT right there. I think that might be nice. And how about that clue, just to take a quick look at it? It wasn't doing anything today. Nah, it looks like it was completely flat. I didn't even see it do anything, and that's why it was completely flat. CLEU and 285 to 295. It came down to 265, but it's at 280. And again, it recently split. It does look like it's trying to make a base down here. I mean, it could pop. I'll keep an eye on it because it is. What was the other one? LICN, right? Lichen, yeah. LICN. I was looking. This one, maybe it's bottoming out. We'll have to keep an eye on it because I think this one's trying to get set up. It was up a little bit today. LICN. Yeah, this one could try to roll off this MACD right here. Maybe today was at bottom when it got down to that 508. Remember, these two both split on the same day right there. So LICN. I'll keep an eye on that tomorrow. Excuse me, yeah. I'll keep an eye on LICN tomorrow and make sure if that one wants to get moving. And also, Clue, I'll keep an eye on that because it is at that bottom line right there and not looking too bad, I must say. It could get popping off that reverse split. And OCGN, how about this one, guys? Had that earnings pull back really good yesterday, and now it's making that curl up again. I don't know if it's really trying to get through, but it definitely made that move. Like it wants to get moving, guys. So I'm telling you, maybe not tomorrow. It might have that 3 or 4 banger off the MACD. We know it. But OCGN, I'm telling you, I think this chart's going to get turned around. I knew it would take a little long. They are running extra slower, so it's taking a lot longer. But yeah, let it. We've already been watching it for like 2, 3 weeks or so, maybe even longer. I don't know, but it's getting that second bounce off the MACD. I don't think it'll get through. We'll see tomorrow, but I don't anticipate it anyway. And again, I think it's just a really good setup. But the thing is with it, it's in a downward bearish trend right now. It's been pulling back, so it's going to be at this bottom. And I think the chart's going to just go bullish. And if it does that, it's going to just start running up, and it'll probably double in price real quick. So definitely a good one that we're keeping an eye on. That's all, OCGN. And here we go with UPS, and let's roll through these because that was up another $1.48 today and looking pretty good. So there you go at UPS. We knew that was going to run, and it went 118 to 120, and it's at 120.50 right there. So watch for it to get up to this 50 up here at 121 area, and that is your UPS report for this evening. And let's see what LMT did because that ran up $1, and it's getting to be in a spot where it can really take off, guys. So keep an eye on this Lockheed Martin. I know we were super early on it, but I would keep an eye on it. It's hitting that 50 at 465 area. It got up to 463. And if it gets over that, and it is going to get set up, it is going to move. So keep an eye on Lockheed Martin because I'm telling you, That one's looking decent still. And Elf, this one's down, but I'm telling you, we're going to keep an eye on this and get it set up. It is just over that MACD. I think we're going to have a good setup here with ELF. So keep an eye on that one too. It is getting set up right there. So I would definitely keep an eye on it. I think it bottomed out on Tuesday as well on that March 4th. So yeah, look for any dips right there, but it did bounce around a little bit today, 64.48 up to 66 and down to 63 at 65.57 now. And Elf isn't looking bad. And then that Advanced Auto Parts right here, AAP. We're just watching this thing pull back. It was down like 72 cents. And this one already had like a, and again, this one, I'm telling you, it showed us that look and it was beautiful. Every time I look at it, it just jumps out at me right now. And I can easily see it. And yeah, this thing's just pulling back. And thank God for Advanced Auto Parts because it gave us that look. And I'm telling you, it saved us for like 3 weeks now. We've known these things were just pulling back and couldn't get through. And thanks to Advanced Auto Parts. And that is my favorite car store. So it's pretty cool that that is the one that did it. But it just so happened to be the one. I know I can just look at that chart. It jumps out at me. And I can definitely tell. And yeah, I'm glad that we got that look off of there too. And TTD, Trade Desk, just pulling back again, setting up to curl up. I think tomorrow might be a good day to take a look at it. I don't necessarily like going over the weekend on them, so I'll look at it because it's hitting that line. Let's just see if it might not even cross through tomorrow. It could just pull back a little bit more, and then we really look at it for next week. But another one, you just got to be patient and watch them set up right here and then catch them at the exact right pricing. And I'm telling you, at the right timing, and you can just ride them up. And it almost tells you when they want to go up right there. So you just have to be really patient, though, and really, really patient. LGMK, good old Logic Mark running up. Another one we've liked the last few days. And it was running up yesterday, and it ran up back up to 20 today. It was up to 21 yesterday, up to 20 today, and not looking bad right there for Logic Mark. Keep an eye on LGMK right there because that's looking good. And let's see what HEP is doing, HEPA. Let's see, Hepion Pharmaceuticals. I know we've been watching it pull back. Let's see if it's going to roll off that MACD because it is over the MACD coming down onto it. And it is hitting it. Honestly, let's watch it tomorrow. HEPA, I'll keep an eye on it, and maybe it'll get rolling off. We can keep an eye on that thing in the morning, guys, because maybe it will try to start rolling off. It is getting into the basement, so I'm not promising. Just take a look. If you get that roll off look, it might get moving, and that's HEPA. If not, it could get into the basement. We'll watch it pull back some more, and that will be perfect. DGLY, Digital Ally, and this thing's getting set up, and this thing's in a good spot, guys. I would keep an eye on this tomorrow as well. And I know we've been watching this bad boy set up, and it was looking like it bottomed out there the other day. What, down at that 6 cents? It's been down there, and today 7 to 8, and it does look really good there. DGLY, I would keep an eye on that one right there. And how about this SLNH right here? SLNH. So Luna Holdings, and this thing has been pulling back, and we're watching it. And again, it's going to be like a four banger off of there. So off that MACD. And it did try to, 116. It came down. I was going to say it didn't run up today, but it opened up. It closed yesterday at 103. It opened at 116, came down into the 90s. It's at 96 right now. And still, I'm not so sure it's going to be crossing through. So you might get a little more pullback as it sets up here. And again, you got to be really careful. Plug, PLUG. It was popping up yesterday, and then it hit this 20 today and kind of just stalled out. But let's see if it wants to plug on through to 20 right here. Just a little healthy pullback. It very well could. Maybe it could pull back a little bit more, but it doesn't look bad right there for PLUG. So keep an eye on that tomorrow. See if it gets through that 20. It'll be good. And CYCU. This thing is curling up right here. I know it ran up yesterday, and we know once they run up, they're going to pull back a little bit. So just let it curl up tomorrow. We'll see what it does as it approaches that MACD, and then they'll get your next little pop up look coming, and then we'll know when it wants to jump up there for CYCU. So definitely keep an eye on that one. And let's take a look at B hat right here, BHAT. Blue Hat Interactive Entertainment. And guys, look at this thing tomorrow because it is getting to be in a really good spot. I know it ran up a little bit yesterday, and I don't know if that, yeah, look at this thing. This thing looks like it might get wild right here. B Hat, you might want to take a look at right there. So definitely keep an eye on BHAT in the morning, guys. That thing looks a little wild right there. And BNZI right here. Let's see what that's up to. Pulling back right there. And another one, you got that like it's going to be like a 4 or 5 banger. So I remember I was looking at it yesterday just to see if it wanted to cross up and get moving, and absolutely not. And I'm telling you, it's keeping this pattern and let it come down here into like the 111, 112 area, and then it'll be getting bottomed out and look much better on BNZI. So let that pull back right there, and that'll be good. And how about Howard Hughes Holdings at HHH? It looked good yesterday, and that 20 and 50 were moving up, but it definitely pulled back today. I could see it trying to bounce back up tomorrow. It is right in that channel, and it's coming down on the MACD. I could see it bouncing back up. I'll have to look at it tomorrow too because it has good support down here at 74, at exactly like 74. You're at 74.85, so it didn't quite get down there today. Got to like 74.68. So we'll see if it wants to bounce down there and then pop back off the MACD in that trend line. And that is Howard Hughes right there, HHH Howard Hughes Holdings. And let's look at XLO. This thing is actually curling back up, guys. And again, we're going to have to take a look. It does look really good, but we have to make sure it wants to get through this MACD. I kind of feel like it does, but yeah, I would take a look at this in the morning. It has that hard curl up, and it's right where that 20 and 50 are meeting up, and it likes to squeeze them. I would absolutely take a look at that one in the morning as well, because that one's trying to set up. And how about that MFI? We looked at it last night, and it was right on that support line. This one did cross through, guys. So remember, I was saying a couple of these small cappers could start doing it. It did try to get through. I know it like pulled itself back, I guess, in the after hours because I know it was pulling through, and I know it went up into that channel right there, right here on mine. It definitely pulled itself back, and I can tell because actually on the FinViz, it still crossed through. So in the after hours, it must have pulled itself back a little bit, and it was. It was just barely through. And I say it can do that often. It's just flat. And honestly, right now, it does. It looks like it might bounce back down tomorrow. It was looking really good to try to do it, and then obviously it did come back down. So who knows with that one? That's kind of interesting because it was trying to do it, and then boom, it definitely moved over. So we will see what's going on with that MFI tomorrow morning because that is interesting. And Laptop Travel said Peter Schiff is speaking on the on one of the spaces right there. So I guess they're talking about the good old reserve here. Yeah, Bitcoin strategic reserve. So there you go. And some overnight leaders right there's Gap, AVGO. I know that popped up in PKX, WBA, the good old Walgreens, SOLX, that semiconductor bull, and ZIM. So we'll see. We're going to go through all them bad boys, you know that, and see what they look like. And we've been dead on with the SPY. I told you yesterday I wasn't convinced, so you know I'll break it down for you. As ALLR, let's just get rocking and rolling. That had some healthy pullback today, but not looking bad, guys. I'd keep an eye on this one tomorrow, too. I know it got into that channel, and it did jump up 102 to 119 there. And I'm not sure if that was like pre-market or after hours. I forget, but I actually I didn't pay no attention to it, so I really don't know. But it was definitely one of them, and it closed at 103. So I'm not sure, but it is in that channel and not looking bad right there for ALLR. So keep an eye on Alarity right there. And let's look at SUNE because this is a popular one too. And it's been way down in the basement. I think it started to move a little bit in the after hours. I know we've been looking at it the last few days, and it did look like it bottomed out, and it does look like it was moving in the after hours 18 to 29, and it is at 27. And here you go. So Finviz has it from like 17 to 22 right here. They're not even close. They have it as its high as like 18 and a half, and then in the after hours 22. So they're not even close because it was definitely over that. I know that. And it's at 27 and it ran up to 29 right there. And again, keep your eye on it. Maybe we have a little run up tomorrow, but be careful. I'm not so sure it's running through that MACD. So I think a lot of people see it like that and they're like, oh, the thing's going to be massive. And they don't realize it's going to come up and just get smacked down. So that's what we look at, and they almost all do it. So you definitely have to be expecting it anyway. And GNS, that one was down 3 cents today. Just a little pullback, and another one was trying to make that hard curl up coming. It came through coming from the top, coming down through the MACD, made a hard curl up, and I don't think it's going to make it. I mean, it was trying to, but I don't think it has it in it. And that is that GNS Genius Group right here. So we'll see. We'll probably get knocked down some more. And again, that is that look that we see. We definitely know it. RNAZ, that transcode we were looking at last night, took a nice dip today because I took a look at this today, and that one's not ready yet. So just kind of let it pull back, and we'll watch this thing. So yeah, that thing's got some pullback in it. RNAZ, and the good old Antelope is AEHL, Antelope Enterprise. And this thing is, I think it bottomed out the other day on the 4th, but it's just going to try to get rolling off the MACD. It was running up a little bit today. What did it do? 11 to 12. It closed at 11. Nothing crazy. We'll see. I think it's going to roll off that MACD. It's kind of just like blended in with it right now, running straight with it. But I do think it's going to try to roll up there and get to the 20, which is at about 12, over 12 and a half cents. But when they move from 11 to 12 and a half, it's not a bad move right there. So that is your Antelope, and we'll keep an eye on AEHL and see if it really wants to get cruising. And again, it could get up over that 20 because that looks like it might want to jump up too. So we'll see how Antelope wants to run. And ADBE is Adobe, and this was down today. And when's their earnings? The 12th, which is next Wednesday. So their earnings are next week, and I don't think it's crossing through just like everything else. It did look good like it wanted to, but nope. And I think you're going to get a little pullback with Adobe. So that is your look, and we are sticking with it. And how about that shot? It was down a penny today, and it does look like it's going to try to get set up to run. It looks like it might have ran up a little bit today. What did it get up to yesterday? 59. Today it got up to 60. So maybe it ran up a hair, 58 to 60, and it closed at 56. It's over to 50. It's not looking bad. Remember the shot, safety shot, SHOT. We started looking at it yesterday. I saw it today. It didn't look too bad. It looked like a little healthy pullback, and it was up. So yeah, keep an eye on SHOT because that's not looking bad. And that's CETX right here, Semtrex. This is that one that's been in the basement forever. Could be bottoming out and looking kind of flat right here. Keep an eye on it, guys. I think this is that next one that pops out of the basement and ends up running. That was in the basement for a long time. So keep an eye on CETX right there, and I will keep an eye on it as well. ASTS, we're just going to keep rocking and rolling right through these bad boys. This one, it kind of did exactly what we were saying last night. I'm not going to lie. It did almost both things that we were talking about. It opened at 330, 33.47. It got up to that 35.49. Didn't have the really the strength to get through, but it did cross through the MACD. Its low is in the 30s, and it closed at 32.12. And remember, we were talking about this thing last night with Ben, and yeah, it's not looking bad right here. It could just be some healthy pullback and running back up tomorrow. So we will definitely look at the ASTS tomorrow. And again, that 20 is right here at 29.26, and it didn't even come down there today. It did cross through, so it is looking pretty good right there, I must say. So I will keep an eye on ASTS. It is getting set back up. We're just going to see if it has a little bit of pullback. Rime, RIME, that one did have a little bit of pullback today, and not that bad though, honestly. It looks like it just came back down to that bottom. RIME. And yeah, what it do? 210 down to 194 again. Nothing crazy right there. And that thing looks like it's trying to base out down there at that bottom. And that UOKA, that thing, it was up like a little bit. It didn't do anything real crazy. Yeah, just a hair. And nothing like it was the other day. UOKA, let's see. Oh, that one is actually trying to get back into that channel. You keep an eye on this thing. 16 to 18, back to 16 again. And this thing is just I don't know what's going on with this company, this real estate thing, but they got something happening over there. And it is in the UK, and that is UOKA because it is looking okay right there. Again, IPA. Maybe they're drinking IPAs over there on UOKA. But anyway, IPA, this is Precise Antibodies. They have earnings coming up March 13th, and this one's hitting that 20 and really hitting the MACD. And we kind of know what might happen tomorrow. I might not even have to tell you guys. I'll be surprised. It could, honestly, it could get up and see if it gets over this 40 cent area. It's trying to, but I can't really promise you, and I don't really guarantee that it's going to. IPA, and again, on a normal chart, these things would try to cross through right there, so they do fake you out, but they're generally pulling back when they're hitting that spot right there. So we'll keep an eye. I'll look at IPA, and that CDT, Conduit Pharmaceuticals, I know it ran up the other day, and it wasn't looking too bad today. Let's see what it looked like when it closed right here. Yeah, not looking too bad. It ran 103 to 117. It's at 115. So keep an eye on good old CDT. And it ran recently and not looking bad. And SAG Holdings, that's good old SAG. It was crawling up today, but this has like a big fish hook, it looks like. So it could get knocked down, but honestly, it does look. I mean, it went 65 to 102. It closed at 76. You got to take it. We'll have to look at it in the morning. It could go any way. It's trying to get out of the basement. I'm not so sure it really can, but we'll take a look at it and see if it is. And that is your SAG Holdings. And again, trying to crawl up there, get through out of the basement, but it's down there, and we'll see what it's up to at in the morning or during the day. AHRO. What is that? Oh, let me type it in right. AHR. No, nothing even comes up. I don't even know what it is. AHRO. Oh, it's an OTC, Authentic Holdings right here. Let's see. This thing, it did run up today. It's kind of one of them weird charts, and it ran up. It's got like the two zeros in it. I can't really tell exactly what it's going to do, so I'm not really sure about that one, to be honest. AHRO, it is a OTC, and it doesn't really have a chart that I can really pay attention to or really get a good look at, I'll say. SCPH, let's see what that's doing. It's coming down to that line. It looks like it might have been trying to bounce up in the after hours. Let me see. It's in a good spot to bounce, and it certainly did. 319 to 381. It's at 328 right now. And it is trying to bounce up. I'm not so sure that one's running again tomorrow. So I hope you locked in some profits on that pop up in the after hours right there on SCPH. I'm sure it'll get set back up, but we'll have to see if it actually wants to run up tomorrow. And how about CPHI, the China Pharma Holdings? And this thing's trying to run up. And again, I'm not so sure this one's going to cross through. Let me see it in the after hours. It did cross through, huh? Wow. This thing might be a runner tomorrow. 20 cents to 29. It's at 24. it's not looking bad right there in the after hours, guys. So I would say let's keep an eye on this CPHI. That could actually be a runner right there. And that's why I have to have that my trend spider. It shows me everything going on. So let's see what's going on here now. Laptop Travel just gave us Peter Schiff's comments. I'll read them out real quick. Peter Schiff said, I said they would not buy any Bitcoin to add to the reserve. I knew they might keep what they already had. That's why I hoped Biden would have sold it before he left, but he couldn't even get that right. That's not neutral. They have to pay gold to buy Bitcoin, and the budget neutral means that they can't buy any. Buying is not budget neutral. They can only acquire Bitcoin at no cost. So maybe they can seize more Bitcoin and keep that. And I had not read the full text. Apparently, it does authorize acquiring more Bitcoin. So long as they can do it at zero cost, so I guess that means if they seize any more Bitcoin, they can keep that too, but they can't buy any more, as buying by definition requires a payment. So I guess that's what Peter Schiff was saying. Thank you very much. And apparently he's saying that the executive order sign says we cannot buy Bitcoin, so that's crashing as a result, obviously, because everyone thought that they were going to be buying it, and so yeah, kind of a bummer right there. I mean, that was like a whole lot of hype for no reason, and yeah, just to make the markets, I guess, tank a little bit. I mean, it is crazy what's going on right now. So here we go. We'll keep on cruising through and see what we see on the markets, and that was CPHI, and again, look at that tomorrow, SOBR. Sober safe, and this thing's trying to just it is curl. I don't know if it's going to get back through, but we'll keep an eye on it. That SOBR, yeah, it's hitting there, and I think this one's going to be pulling back right there. That's what it looks like to me. And CDIO, that one's at Cardio Diagnostics, and this one's trying to get set up. And another one, I just don't know if it can get through. In a great spot, but hitting the 20, and I doubt it's going to get through tomorrow. So that'll probably pull back as well. And how about ACON right here? Oh, ACON. Let's see what a Clarion's doing. I know it ran up the other day. It's getting to be in a better spot as it pulls back. And let me take a look and see. Oh, that's a nice dip, 773 to 105. It really did that, and it's at 155 right now. That's a pretty nice dip, I would say. Yeah, that's a really good dip down there today. Let me see. And I don't know if it really just wants to bounce back up. Take a look at ACON in the morning, guys. You'll know if it's bouncing, obviously. But I don't know. It doesn't really have that bounce real look to me. And so that's a really good dip opportunity because it will get set up in a great spot right there if it does not bounce. So that is ACON. And I'm going to have to keep an eye on that thing. And good old SBEV, Splash Beverage Group. And this thing is, again, they're just trying to get curled up there and hitting it and coming down. And we do know that is what happens right now. So that's doing exactly that. And looks like SBEV's going to be pulling back. And again, they're going to fake everybody out. I'm not going to lie. NVNI, and that's just what the charts kind of look like. They want to pop, but we just know they're not going to. NVNI. Let's see. That one's trying to do the same thing, just down at the bottom, making a base down here. Nothing too crazy. IPDN, I mean, maybe it bounces up, but it's not giving me that look. IPDN, this one's got some crazy looks on it too. And some of these crazy ones, I guess, can bounce, but again, they're not showing me that they really want to hardcore. And I like to have that look to let you know, like, oh yeah, it's running. So IPDN not giving me that look as well. And it is just kind of getting set up. It may be bottoming out is what it's doing. And that's IPDN. And let's see what FBGL, that's that new one. And what was it doing today? I forget because I looked at it and I think it like tried to run or something. Did it not? Let me see. FBGL, I forget. Yeah, it did run up 106 to 126. Yesterday it ran up to 116. So there you go with FBGL. And now it's actually like kind of hitting like a resistance. So we'll have to see what it's going to do now. But Yeah, that's the best I can tell you because again, it's brand new. It's still in the basement. We'll see if it flattens out or what it wants to do tomorrow. And that PTPI, if I could type it in, Petros Pharmaceuticals. Let me take a look because that's curling up for the second, third time right here. Let me see if it'll get through. Honestly, it looks like it wants to, but I could definitely see it not. I could see it not making it through right there. And yeah, we'll take a look at this in the morning. It is trying to get out of the basement. It's right on that line right there. I mean, it does want to. I'm not gonna lie. It's looking much better coming off that support line right there. It could do it. It could get out of the basement. It's right there. It has to get through that MACD though. It's got to get out of the basement and through. Let's look at that tomorrow. I'm going to jot that one down. I actually like that one, and it's right there. So PTPI, we're going to take a look at that bad boy. It is right there. I mean, it could definitely make it out, and it could even pop up without even crossing through, or even give that quick cross through and come back. And Lunar's just dipping down, and another one just has that look where you just knew it was coming down. Had almost 50 million in volume right there, and looks like it's going to be pulling back. It's hitting that bottom right there. So we'll see if it wants to get caught up at the bottom or come into the basement. LUNR and STSS. That's Sharps Technology right here. And this thing's down at the bottom and it's just riding that bottom line right there. So that's what I think that other one might do right there, PTPI. So we'll take a look at that. And STSS looks like it ran a little bit. Is that in the after hours? 27 to 33. It's at 27. It opened and closed at the same spot. And it definitely ran around at some point. Maybe it was in the pre-market. I'm not exactly sure, but it hit that 20, and we'll just see what it wants to do right there. So there you go with your STSS. And True Golf, let's see what that's up to. Like I said, I don't think it's getting any lower than its low the other day when it came down to that 32 cent area, but it is crossed down, so it is going to have to get set up. And we do know they don't go right through right away, so we are going to have to take a look at good old True Golf. I don't think it's ready to get teed off yet. It is trying to crawl up and it might bounce down, so we'll take a look at that. And how about that COEP? I know we were looking at that before. This thing's actually held its weight up here at like 1025, and this thing's doing the same thing, guys, trying to crawl up multiple times. And I don't know if it's exactly ready yet, but it will get set up. And I'm amazed that this thing held itself up this high. This thing's pretty solid, I'm not going to lie. But just watch for any pullback into the lower tens, maybe even the high nines. It's at about 1025 right now, COEP. And yeah, it could just pull back a little bit as it gets set up. And how about good old Icon right here, ICON, Icon Energy. And that is trying to get curled up. Not looking too bad for the Icon. Yeah, Icon's not looking bad. I would keep an eye on that. And we did say that was trying to get set up. And there you go with our list right there. I'll roll right through our laptop travel list and our Jolie's jams and knock them out real quick, and then I'll go through, see what you guys want to see. We'll look at the SPY, the big caps. I'll tell you what the SPY is going to do, and also crypto because Bitcoin's at 88,000, Sol's at 140, and Ethereum's back at 2,175, and Ripple's down at 247. So they definitely pulled back with that great Bitcoin reserve news, huh? That was amazing. And here we go. Let's just rock and roll through AGRI and see this list real quick. A lot of good ones were on here last night. And this one, AGRI, was trying to get, I'm telling you, this thing's going to be a setup for next week then. AGRI, it was trying to move. It came back down 189 down to 169 right now. And yeah, that's going to be a setup for next week. I'll definitely have that on my list. ATPC. This is getting to be in a great spot and honestly could pop off at any moment. So you might want to keep an eye on ATPC. It's trying to get set up right there. I can tell you that right now. And AUTL, Autolus, a therapeutics or something, and this thing's trying to run up. It might get up to that 50 at 214. Let me see what it did in the after hours here. Oh, it might have pulled back there, 206 up to 208. It did pull back. It's at 195, so maybe it won't tomorrow, but it'll be in that channel to get set up for AUTL. And BGI, Burks Group. And this one actually looks like it might run up to that 50 right there. It's at 123. It could get into the 140s right here, BGI. So keep an eye on that. BGI. What was that company name that used to get CDs from? Not Columbia House, but wasn't there another one? It was like BGI or something like them letters. I forget what it was. Anyway, I think everybody got CDs and back in the day from them things like 9 for a penny or something, and you just put someone else's name and then they just sell them to you, and then you never paid for it. I don't know. I think everybody did that. Of course, that company went out of business, but that was crazy back in the day. Anyway, what the heck was I forget what it was. I know there was like Columbia House and another one. Anyway, BGI. It wasn't Burks Group, but that's a luxury company, and yeah, they're not looking bad. So we'll keep an eye on that. Could get running up into that 143 area, like I was saying. And here we go. BLNK, Blink charging, and this thing is finally moving, guys. Remember, they have their earnings coming up on what, Wednesday? Oh, no, what? The 13th is next Thursday. I'm sorry, not Wednesday, Thursday. But remember, we did see that bottom down there at like 87 cents. It's at $1.06 now. So there you go. And yeah, Peter Shed, the latest and greatest snake oil salesman. Austin said, yeah, I mean, I don't really follow him. He was on doing his speech on the spaces, I guess, and laptop travel is following along. But Blink charging here is looking good, guys. One of Joey's jumpers right there, and it's also on the laptop travel list. So there you go. They both like it at the moment, and I would say it's looking pretty decent right there. BLNK, and here we go with BTAI. This thing is hitting that 20 and trying to curl back up. I must say, I know it ran up the other day and it pulled back, and it does look like it's trying to stay in that channel for BTAI. We'll have to look at that tomorrow. And BTM, Bitcoin Depot, and this thing was actually not looking bad today, but it might look a little bad tomorrow. For BTI, yeah, that thing's going to go down tomorrow. You can see it hitting that 20 and going down. So that's probably coming down, especially with everything else. And CDT Environmental Technology Investment Holdings, and that thing is going to get moving, guys. CDTG, I would say keep an eye on that thing. It is looking good right there. And yeah, I'd say keep an eye on that one right there. There you go. CDTG looking good for tomorrow. And CETY, Clean Energy Technologies. This one's getting set up. It could try to run. I don't know if it will tomorrow, but it's getting set up. CWD, Caliber Costs. And this one's getting set up. Let me see what CWD's doing right here. Yeah, they're coming up to the 20. This one's one of them ones that kind of crosses through, but doesn't go too wild. But it does look like it could run up right there. CWD and Drama DRMA. This one might cause some drama if it can get moving and keep some momentum up here. It's got some resistance at 124 and 125, but it is looking pretty good right now. I have to see what this did in the after hours. DRMA. Yeah, it's in that channel crossing through. Keep an eye on DRMA tomorrow, guys. That one could have some drama. And of course, DTCK right here, Davis Commodities. And this thing just runs around. What did it even do today? This thing just kind of runs around like weird. 89 to 95. It closed at 95. Yeah, it just like runs around every day. So it's kind of a bizarre one, but it's trying to get set up. It just runs around. Kind of weird. DTCK. And let's see, ENVB, Enveric Biosciences. And this thing is just kind of pulling back, but it's going to get set up. You can tell it just might not do it tomorrow. And so that might be a good one for next week. And EYPT right there, EyePoint Pharmaceuticals. And this one is trying to bounce off that line and looking much better. EYPT. 647 to 689, and it's at 675. And like I said, not looking bad. Your 50's up there at 724. So EYPT not looking bad right there. And the IGMS up 5 cents right here. And that one's getting set up. I'd keep an eye on this. Let me see what it did in the after hours. Yeah, IGMS might be another one to keep an eye on tomorrow, guys. And IKNA right here. That was popping up. I don't know if it's going to get through that MACD to really get moving. IKNA. It's hitting that 50, like I said, in there. So it might pull back, but it was a nice pop up today, 133 to 150. It's at 143. We can take a look at it. And INDP right here, that one's down a little bit and just getting set up. That one's not ready yet, but it is just getting set up. INDP in that channel and a little pullback right there. And MKZR right there, Mackenzie Realty. This one's getting set up. I'm telling you, real estate ones are still looking pretty good for some reason. MKZR. Go figure. Trump's a real estate guy. It is the only sector that looks good. MKZR. 203 is what it was at. It came down to 195. It's hitting the 20. It may have to pull back, but it is getting set up. That one might be a really good one for next week. And good old Polar Power. And this one, POLA. This one's curling up hard to hit that 20. I don't know if it's making it through there tomorrow, but again, it is. Oh, it did might have crossed through right there. Keep an eye on this 295 to 308. It's at 304. This one might have some polar power tomorrow. Keep an eye on POLA. I do like that. And again, that Finvis throws me way off here because it doesn't show you anything. It says it's at like 291. We're at 304, busting through the 50 right there. A total different look. That is for sure. So that is your POLA, and that is POLA. And let's look at RITR. And that is an engineering and construction company in Hong Kong and curling up there, not looking bad. So yeah, keep an eye on RITR because that's on that 20. Maybe it just sits around tomorrow, but might get set back up for next week. XTKG. Let's see, X3 Holdings, and this has been down for a while and getting into that channel. Probably another good one for next week, XTKG. It was trying to run up today, actually. It gapped up, I guess. It closed at 66, it opened at 75, and then closed at 66. So it does have a weird look right there. I'll check that out tomorrow. And good old Clean Core, that's Zone, ZONE, Clean Core Solutions. And we said this one was looking pretty good. It wanted to get into the zone, and I would keep an eye on it because it does want to get into the zone. And how about ZOOZ? We'll end it with that one right there. ZOOZ for Zeus Power on the laptop travel list. And this one's getting into that channel right there. And another one could be a setup for next week. Yeah, it ran up the other day. And there you go with your laptop travel list. And Agrify, we'll go to our Jolie's Jams. And that one just pulled back. I'm telling you, this thing is in such a good spot. But it's also in one of them spots where we know it can't crawl through and it keeps making bottoms. I'll keep an eye on it tomorrow, see what's going on. But it did pull back into the 16s today from the 18, and it ran up to 19 for AGFY. And that blink looks good. We just talked about it. And good old Sezzle, SEZL right here. And that thing took a dip down and looks like it could be pulling back. Let me see what it did in the after hours right here. 253 to 255. It's at 231 right now. And yeah, that could be pulling back tomorrow. Sezzle, SEZL, and Sterling, that was looking good. And that took a pullback today too. So we'll have to keep an eye on good old STRL. It is over the MACD, hit that 20, pull back. It could just be a little healthy pullback because it is trying to get moving there. So we'll keep an eye on STRL and Rivian, RIVN. Let's see, it's down here. And I think Rivian could have a little bit of pullback in it, trying to make a base, but I do think it's going to pull back a little bit more. So look for that. And SYM was down 61 cents. And it is getting set up, but I think it's going to have another try through the MACD before it can get through. It'll be a 3 or 4 banger right there. And that's your Jolie's Jams as well, and your laptop travel list. And there you go. Let me go ahead and I'll look and see what you guys want to look at real quick, and we'll see what's going on right here. We looked at all that, and let's look at Robinhood real quick and see what that's up to. HOOD, Robinhood Markets, and that's sitting on a support line, and that could be pulling down right now. So that might be coming down even further. It looks like good old Robinhood, and that PTPI. I'm telling you, we'll keep an eye on it. It's not looking bad. Maybe it does pop through and tries to get through tomorrow. Now I look at it, did go, you know what? It is way down. I wasn't even paying attention to how high up it curled up. A 1-2, and it almost did it the last time. And this will be the third one, and it's almost out of the basement. Keep an eye on this PTPI. It could be pretty good right there. It is looking, but it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. And like I said, if it gets through that MACD, it definitely runs up, and I'll tell you where it can run up to. Probably about that 16 and a half, and you're under 9.5 right there. So not a bad one right there. How about NIXX? I know we looked at that one recently. Nixie. It's a staff and employment company. It is curled through. It's just kind of running a little bit flat, to be honest with you. If it gets anywhere, it's getting up to 214. It's at 184, but it's trying to. It's just a little flat. I'd have to look at it tomorrow. It is in a pretty decent spot, too. So I'll have to look at that one tomorrow, GG, and see what's up with Nixie right there. And that PSTV. I think we went over it at the very beginning. Plus Therapeutics. That's it. Yeah, that one that ran way up there. And I'm telling you what, it's hitting some resistance up here. I think it could be a runner in the morning again. It had some really, really good um basically momentum going up there. And yeah, 49 to 260 closing at that 218. I kind of feel like it could see another run up in the morning there. So keep an eye on that bad boy right there, that PSTV. And Icon Genius, we did them. ACON, we got that. So we got all them guys right there. And let's see what's going on with our SPY and our big cap, and our crypto is down. I'll actually just do that real quick and tell you what that's up to. Let's see, Bitcoin's what at 87,684, and then Solana's at 141, Ethereum's at 2166. And Ripple's at 250, ADA's at 86. Cardano came down. Doge is under 20 at like 19 something. And yeah, let's see what else we're looking at right there. I'd say that's all of them. And I know Link and will be coming up right here at 1647. And H bar was down too. It was like at 23 a little bit ago. Let me see what it says for H bar. And it is at 23. So there you go with them bad boys. And I was just waiting for it to scroll up on the old stock cube there. And it is a red stock cube at the moment. But let's go ahead. I'll tell you what the charts look like, because I'm curious at the moment, especially after that reserve info. That was some nonsense. And yeah, here's Bitcoin. It's at 87 right now. And let's see. What is it going to do? That's the question. I think it's still going to try to get popping up. I think it was a strategic pull down again, and they'll probably say something tomorrow is going to happen. I don't know. Trump's crazy right now. He's doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and you know they're profiting like crazy too. So Ethereum's got that look where it needed a couple run throughs. Let's look at Solana at 141. It's bouncing between 141 and 140 right here. And Solana doesn't look bad either. So Bitcoin and Solana really don't look too bad. Cardano is back at 85. Let's see what that's at. And that one is honestly, it's just some pullback. That thing had run up so much that could easily get curled right back up as well. And Ripple's at 249. It's right around 250, so not too bad there. And let's see. And Ripple looks like it's still gonna get. I mean, it's just pulling back a little bit, but I could see it getting ripping up there. So I don't think they look terrible. And again, I think it's just it's being done on purpose. You can kind of tell, and they're just making bank money off this stuff. I mean, if you were an insider, you were making money too. It's hard to time them that perfect because they're just all over the place, and you don't know when Trump's going to send out a tweet or do something. So if anyone knew he was going to do something on a Sunday morning, I mean, you would have been making bank. And clearly they knew because they were 20 times in the thing hedging it and making like 200 million, or 50 times in it making $200 million. So there you go with your crypto report. And now let's go through our SPY and our big caps and rock and roll through that and get ready for our Friday afternoon, or Friday morning actually. And your SPY was down 1035. It did come down to that 570 area. I thought that was some support. Again, I think that 567 it may even see tomorrow. So we'll see what it wants to do. I'm not convinced it's ready to go up yet. So you know what happens when that. I mean, it is hitting a little support down there. So we will keep an eye on it. Maybe it tries to bounce up a little bit tomorrow, and then we'll have to reevaluate. It is way down there, but I could see it hitting this other trend at 567. So just watch for them numbers right there on your SPY. And good old Apple was down like 41 cents, and I think Apple's pulling back right now. And again, that one was up a little bit ago, and it looks like it's going to be pulling back at the moment for AAPL. And Amazon was trying to get set up. That came down $7, hitting that bottom right there. And let me see about Amazon AMZN. And yeah, it's hitting a good trend line, but looks like it wants to come down. These things might come down a little bit more, guys. So we might see some really good pullback maybe tomorrow. And Google, this thing was trying to curl up. And again, it's once, twice. It's probably going to be pulling back here. As we know, it's not going to get through that MACD. So most people might think it is, but I don't really think that's going to happen for Google. We'll definitely look at it. And obviously, Meta was pulling back, and we thought it was going to dip down. I think Meta could go really far down there if it doesn't hold itself up real quick on this line right here at this 626. If Meta gets down there, it's going to drop quick. So keep an eye on that Meta right there and see if it wants to dip real hard. And Microsoft obviously was pulling back, not real bad. It was curling up to hit the line, and I don't know if it's going to get through, obviously. So look for Microsoft to pull back a little bit, but it wasn't like the rest of them real crazy. And that was MSFT. And let's see what our NVIDIA is up to, NVDA. And that came down to 110 right there, hitting the support line just about. And honestly, it could come down even further into the 107 range. So that's bringing that way down as well for NVDA. And Tesla was down 15 more, and looks like it's going to keep going down and come down into the basement some more right there for Tesla. And here we go with AMC. It was down just a hair, and I mean, it looks like it's trying. Let me look at it in the after hours AMC. Yeah, it's hitting that line. I mean, it could still pull back a little bit. I'm telling you, all of these look like they could pull back. GameStop looks like it might want to. Chewy was trying to get set up, and let me see, down $1.79. It's still getting set up, and it was trying to curl up, making them curl up moves, and obviously it wasn't going through. So you're going to get that pullback. So yeah, they're holding that pattern, guys. So you can clearly tell that they're keeping that pattern right there. CHWY doing it as well. And let's look at Netflix right here. Whoa, that was down $84. I didn't even notice that. And that took a huge dip and may take another huge dip down tomorrow, guys. So you might want to possibly short some of these down again. Some of these are going to have good puts, I bet. Netflix way down there. Holy cow, I didn't even notice that today. And AVGO popped up in the after hours. Remember I was saying, I don't play the earnings, but remember I still don't even think it looks that great. Let me look at it in the after hours here. I mean, yeah, I think it's just some pop up after the earnings, and I think you better get out of it in the morning because I think it might come down some more. It might be a good one to throw down because if it goes up like that and then comes right back down, it might be perfect. So we'll look at that bad boy AVGO. And MU is down $5. Looks like it wants to come down some more. And how about TSM? That was down $8 and looks like it wants to come down some more. And SMCI, that was down $1.85. And that one looks like it wants to pull back. And how about our AMD? Because that one was pulling back as well, $2. And that looks like it's going to come down some more. So I don't think they're ready to move yet. QCOM looks like it's trying to set up, but I think that's going to be bouncing down. And Intel is trying to get set up, but again, that one's going to be pulling back as well. And PayPal, we thought that was the bottom, right? Until it starts pulling back some more. And I think it might even dip down harder, PayPal. So we'll have to watch that when we were looking looking at it yesterday. And good old snow, that came down $21. Remember I said snow was coming down? It came down already. And I think it might dip even harder tomorrow. So keep an eye on that to come down. And let's see, good old Dell, that was down $4 and could be pulling back some more. PLTR down $9, and if this thing comes down, this thing could really drop. So keep your eye on Palantir because you could get a really good dip on that. Same with Sophie right here, that's trying to pull back hard. And of course, Mara's just trying to set up right here and curl up. It'll be interesting to see what it does tomorrow after all this, and I'll look at it in the after hours. And yeah, it's hitting that 20 and didn't look like it was getting good news right there. And Riot right here was pulling back today. Looks like it's going to continue to pull back for Riot. And CLSK, that's down 40 cents and looks like it's going to be pulling back. And I'm sure MicroStrategy is going to get hurt up from this one. It was down like a couple bucks, but let me see. Yeah, I think MicroStrategy was trying to cross through, but it looks like it has that look where it's going to pull it back down right there. We'll have to see tomorrow. They are having they're having a summit at the White House. I mean, they might have a not fun day. I don't know. Coinbase looks like it wants to pull back. Let's see if it did that in the after hours right there. And yeah, it looks like it wants to pull back. So maybe it's going to be a beaten down day while they're having a crypto summit. DJT looks like it's coming down unless they do something crazy in the morning. Fun doesn't look like it's getting crazy at the moment. And MTN's pulling back some more. But again, this one actually might get set up. So we'll look at that one, see what it's up to. And how about McDonald's was up? Remember I was saying that? I don't know if it's going to crawl up though. It almost looks like it's trying to. MCD, go figure. McDonald's is the one that looks good. And so yeah, it actually doesn't look too bad right there. I'll have to look at it in the morning for McDonald's. And Boeing right here was down 473, and it could pull back some more. And SPCE, that's down. And speaking of space, Elon SpaceX, that blew to pieces tonight too. So that wasn't a good thing. And everything's just blowing apart right now. IBM, let's see what that's doing because that was down 266 and looks like it could be pulling back. And Disney was pulling back 388 and looks like it's going to be dipping pretty hard. And let's see, Oxy, that was up a little bit. I think these ones might try to. We'll have to look at Oxy and ExxonMobil. They just been all over the place, not doing anything crazy. Nike was down a little bit, doesn't look too bad. And DXYZ down $3 and pulling back. So there you go with them bad boys. I would say it's not looking great. So running through them guys. Let me go through our scanner real quick, see what's happening there. I don't think it's a whole lot that we didn't see. AGMH and PSTV, we know all about all these. Ford not looking too bad, little pullback. Everything else on there we just looked at. Lucid pulling back. RGTI was up a little bit. Let me look at that. I don't know if it's ready. Nah, it's just one of them like four back. Actually, it's trying to get in a good spot. Let me look at this thing, RGTI, real quick. Maybe we want to look at that tomorrow. Yeah, we might want to look at it tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be running. I'll look at that. That DNN, that one's trying to get set up. I was talking about that one the other day, that uranium one, and that does look like it's trying to bounce up there. We'll have to. I'll take a look. Like I said, we just know that they don't like to cross through like this, so you have to be careful with them, of course. Let me see if anything. American Airlines is way down there. AEON is trying to curl up here. Take a look at that tomorrow. AEON, that's not looking bad right there. So I would take a look at that one right there. That's not looking too bad. And let's see, BAC, Bank of America's big dip. And a lot of other ones are dipping down right there. Nothing else catching my eye. We already looked at ACON and Plug. And all these guys we already looked at. What's this SCNX? Can't even talk. And take a look at this thing. It was trying to run up today. I don't know. I'd have to look at it tomorrow. And let's see what else is going on over here. Right, that's SCNX. I'm telling you, we'll take a look at that tomorrow. SCNX. I'll write that down. And let's see what else. What else? What else? AEON. I just said. Anything else? That SAG we looked at, ILAG we looked at the other day. Doom, doom, doom. I don't see anything real crazy right there. Let me see what the news stories are besides everything dipping. Asian stocks, Bitcoin drop on souring sentiment. U.S. stock futures rise as shaken Wall Street awaits jobs report. And stock futures rise after Thursday's big sell-off. And key jobs report looms. Nasdaq falls in the correction, and S&P 500 tests line in the sand. Watch these levels, and Walgreens to be taken private by Sycamore, and that says a $10 billion deal. I was reading it was 20 something million billion. I have no idea, but that's what that one says. And I don't even know who that is, but who cares? And that's what them stories say. I'll tell you what it says on Stock Twits real quick. Probably a bunch of red stuff like Ripple down at 250 and Bitcoin down at 87. AVGO is up, MicroStrategy down, Lunar's down, WBA, Walgreens is up, Netflix down, Costco's down, GRRR is way down there. That was way up, and that one could be pulling back even more pretty good. So keep an eye on that one to come down. And Marit is down, and there you go. I would say it's pretty. I would say a little red right there, huh? And yeah, so I would say that covers everything right there. Let me see. We did our crypto, our big caps, our spy and all that good stuff. I'll look at the messages real quick one more time. But we just kind of rock and rolled right through that list and everything else. And everything is updated on the YouTube. I got everything up and working and good now. So go ahead and you can check out the videos. And like I said, I'm going to mess around this weekend, try to get the live feeds up. So that'll be really cool if I can do that. That would be nice. And then I might not have to mess with videos. So that would even be better. So we will definitely be messing around. I'll be messing around with that for sure. And we'll see what we can do with that. RDAR, let's see what that one looks like right here. RDAR, it might be a, is that a OTCer? It is radar. And that's a really crazy OTCer. Honestly, it does look like it wants to roll up. I mean, it has like three zeros in the front of it. So it looks like it wants to roll off that 20 and run up, but again, I'm not really good at these small OTCers, so that's what that looks like to me. And let's see if there's anything else going on here. I think we kind of looked at everything. I look at the old ETF 500. Where was that? It was at like 4.9 million or something. It was right around there earlier. Nothing too crazy, and just kind of holding itself up. Let me see where it's at. It says 4.9 there. And let's see, 4.9 is what it looks like. So yeah, it's the thing just holds itself right up right there while everything's pulling back like crazy. That thing just stays afloat, so that's always a good look for sure. And there you go. I would say we probably covered everything. I think we got everything over there. Let me know if I missed anything. If I did, just shoot me a message and I'll take a look at it. But yeah, I think we knocked everything out. And again, the market's pretty red. I think they're going to be pulling back. We'll see how it opens up at 7 a.m. We'll be on for pre-market and do our Jolie's jumpers and our laptop lowdowns, and of course crypto to see if that's going to be bouncing up. And they do have the White House Summit, Crypto Summit tomorrow. So all kinds of crazy stuff going on. I mean, I would say that you would think it was going to be running. The thing's dropping like crazy. So we shall see if it's another intentional dip down so that they can run it up and make a fortune again, and everybody else just sits there and goes, what the hell just happened? But at least we have a pretty good eye on everything right now, and we just know we haven't been getting burned, I can tell you that. And we've been hitting the poppers, so we're doing pretty good, I can tell you that. Compared to everybody else, I think we're way ahead of the game, and I don't think many people pay attention, but that look and that pattern exactly is what is going on. So we have it nailed down and we're all good. So there you go, everyone. I'd say that's a pretty good market review for what we're working with. Obviously, some red crypto, some red markets right there, and we will find the poppers tomorrow. So I will catch you guys at 7 a.m. And obviously, all information presented here is for educational and informational purpose only, not intended as financial advice. Always do your due diligence. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. As always, always greatly appreciate it. Laptop Travel and Doge Mama 9, Jay Kratz, and Luis Rodriguez, Barbara, and PK, Austin, Sinai, and who is that? Dodo or something at Ontario, Stacy, Alicia, and everybody else that was hanging out. Greatly appreciate it. There's Tony 90 and other people were hopping in and out, and everybody that checks out the replays and all the other things. Thank you very much. And yeah, send me over any feedback. You know that, and we'll just catch these bottoms, like I say. And obviously, we can ride this market down. We were doing it since last Sunday. I think we played it perfectly, to be honest with you, and haven't gotten caught in any of these dips. And there you go. So that's just the way you do it for sure. And yeah, you just have to be patient sometimes and let the dust settle, and then you get right back to it. And again, you could have shorted this thing down. I did a couple times, and it works out perfectly. And tomorrow might be another day. We'll know in the morning. You guys know that, but we know what we're looking at. I'll actually take a picture of the list. I'll put it on top of it. That's what I should do at the end of the show. I should put it on top of the stock cube, and then I'll remember because I literally get done the show and I turn everything off and I get up and just forget. So I'm not gonna lie, my brain after like an hour, even after like an hour, it's fried. But usually it's like 2 hours we do the show. We just cruise through it tonight, and again, there's just a lot of red and a lot of things just pulling back, so it was easy to go through them pretty fast. But I will send it out because, like I said, there are some good notes on here, and I did mark the ones that do look pretty good. I'm telling you, like S dot and DGLY and B hat XLO, all looking good for tomorrow. That UOKA and CPHI, ACON, I'll look at, and that PTPI, I'm telling you, I'll look at that, and even Icon right there, and a couple on the laptop lowdown list, that's CDTG and Drama, IGMS and POLA, and Zone. So yeah, a couple good ones right there. So I'll put it right back where I had it, and I'll take a picture of it and post it out for you guys. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And I will catch you guys at 7 a.m. for our pre-market. And, we'll pick out the poppers and whatever's going to be happening on that Friday, and especially with the crypto summit going on at the White House. So there you go. We get to wrap up early tonight. That's always nice. And so enjoy your evening, everybody. Have a great night. And I will catch you guys at 7 a.m. Have a good night, everybody.